Welcome. We'll start with the 8th chapter for NCERT Class 7 Political Science. Now this chapter talks about the market around us. So when we are talking about the market area, first of all, the first question or the first thing that comes to our mind is, why do we require a market? Market is required to buy certain products or certain commodity that we want for. Now these commodities could be like the common commodities which we require on a day-to-day basis, let's say vegetables, fruits, milk or supplies, the grocery supplies. However, there could be fixed products that we are looking for example, let's say furniture, electronics and so on. So all these are available in the market. Now the market depends from place to place. So sometimes there is a kind of permanent market that occurs, and somewhere you have a kind of temporary market that occurs. So the various kinds of units that you could see under a market are, you can have shops, you could have hawker stalls, weekly markets or large shopping malls. Now we will discuss each of these one by one, and then we will understand what is a chain of market. So let's first talk about a weekly market. Now weekly market, as the name suggests, is a market that occurs once a week. So the basic idea or advantage of a weekly market is that you have everything under in one place. So you would have fruits, vegetables, groceries, utensils, clothes, everything available at one place. It occurs once a week. It's not a kind of permanent shops that occur. Now this weekly market encourages the small scale units. So mostly household products you can find here. You won't find kind of branded products in a weekly market. Then there are many such places where these kinds of market exist, and also these weekly markets shift from one place to another. So let's say they are present on the first week of a month at a place A in the city, then they move to place B in the second week and so on. So that can be another thing that can happen. Again, since they are providing household commodities, they are usually at a cheaper price, so they are much economical, much cheaper as compared to the big shops that you have. Again, why they are cheaper? There is one more reason. They do not have the kind of permanent shop, so they are cutting on the cost. So they do not have to incur the cost of rent, they do not have to incur the cost of electricity, any kind of government fees or wages to the workers. So all these costs have been cut down, and therefore the product that they are supplying is at a much lower price as compared to the large shops which are present in the shopping complex or the malls. Now again, sometimes there is a kind of good competition that exists, because 2-3 stalls would sell the same product at different prices. So they have to maintain a kind of uniformity in the prices, because the customer would shift from one shop to another if there is huge variation. Again, there is bargain that occurs in these kind of markets, and this bargain, the sole advantage or the sole idea is to bring down the prices. Now the next is shops in the neighborhood. Now shops exist everywhere in and around the neighborhood. Mostly the shops that exist are grocery shops, milk shops, then you have stationery, eatables. However, there are some permanent shops and some kind of vendors or hawkers that exist. The basic advantage of the shops in the neighborhood are they are near to the home, so you can go there any day, any time and get your product. You need not to accumulate a lot of stuff together. Another major advantage is the buyer and the seller know each other. So sometimes if you have lost your wallet at your home or forgotten your wallet at your home, you can take the items on credit. So that is one of the basic advantages of shops in the neighborhood. So they can provide you goods on credit, which is not possible in large shopping malls or a weekly market. The next is shopping complex or the shopping malls. Now shopping complex usually have many shops. What is a mall? If we understand mall, it's a kind of large multi-storied building which is fully air conditioned with various shops that occur on different floors. Now it can be air conditioned, and there are certain malls which are open as well. So both of these are applicable here. Now under the shopping complexes, you would have both the branded products and the non-branded products that would occur. Usually these shops do not encourage bargain, so they have kind of fixed price tags that could be seen, or if they have any discounts or schemes running on, they clearly market on the store itself. Now again, under the shopping complex, the goods that are branded would be more expensive. In the last chapter we saw how advertisement brings up the prices, and the product which is branded is more expensive because of the cost it is incurring for the advertisement and the promotion. So branded goods are usually more expensive as they are promoted by advertisements. There are special showrooms that exist for special products, and very few number of people usually go for branded products. Now the next and the most important thing that we will try to understand today is the chain of market. Now where does the goods come from? Let's say you have a farmer. Now this farmer wants fertilizers for the crop. This fertilizers comes from factories. On the other hand, you have a mechanic. Now this mechanic is looking to repair the car, and he wants some spare parts. Now these spare parts come from again factories. So what is the ultimate source for the market? The ultimate source is either factories or farms. If it is a kind of vegetable or perishable product, then you have some household industry. So factories, farms or houses forms the basis or the first order of the chain for any market product or commodity to come. Now from these places you have the product that is initiated. Now this product does not directly go to the retailer. You have traders that trade the products, and these traders are initially wholesalers. Now wholesalers are those who deal in huge quantity and they transfer their products to the retailers. Retailers are those who sell out individual quantity. So let's say a child comes to buy a set of blocks or a game for blocks. So wholesaler would provide, say, a whole bunch of blocks to him. However, if there is a retailer, he would provide even a single block. So similarly, consider these to be chocolates. So the wholesaler would provide the whole bunch of chocolates. However, retailer would provide an individual chocolate in the market. So you would say a retailer will sell the product or the chocolate for 10 rupees per chocolate. However, this retailer which is procuring from the wholesaler would provide the same chocolate, let's say at rupees 7 per chocolate, because he is working on the quantity. So he is selling, let's say, 100 chocolates to that retailer. So he would sell those chocolates for 700 and still he would have certain profit that he would get. However, this retailer would be able to say, let's say he would be able to sell only 5 chocolates or 10 chocolates a day. So he would be earning 10 by 10, that's 100 rupees a day by selling the chocolates. So that's the difference between the wholesaler and retailer. So wholesaler usually go for bulk sales, however retailer go for individual sales. So you have the diagram here. Now this shows the chain of the market. So as we saw, you have the first level, that's the factory or the farmhouses where you have the product that shows up. Then you have the producers, and these producers through the traders reach the final consumers, and within these traders you have wholesalers and retailers. So wholesalers sell the products in bulk, however retailers sell the products individually. Now where are markets located? Markets are technically located each and everywhere. So they exist definitely in specific localities, but they would be present throughout the town. You cannot say like this is the whole map of a town. You cannot say all the market is located at place A and all the residences are located at place B. That is not practically possible. So with every residential area you would have a kind of small market, if not big, that would be present. Now the trend or the concept of market is changing. With the electronic media coming in, you have the marketplace that is present remotely and you can order your products even through internet or telephone. So what happens now is, with this methodology coming in, you have the home delivery options that are coming up. Now again, there are certain professions where you have to market your products. Market your products, that means you have to promote your products. So let's say people from pharma industry go to various doctors as sales representative and they explain their medicines or their products to the doctor so that they can give those products or prescribe those products to the patients. So those are the kind of marketing strategies that are used. Now again, as we say, as we understood, traders also earn unequal amount. There is no equality in the economy when it comes to market, because when you have a kind of weekly market, the person who is selling in the weekly market is incurring less profit because he is first of all doing a business from house. So that's one of the reasons, and secondly, they are selling at a lower cost, at a lower price, sorry. On the other hand, you have a large shopping complex. As we said, large shopping complex would have numerous expenditure that would incur. It has to incur like rent, electricity, wages to the workers and so on. So the cost of the product or the MRP, the minimum retail price, would be high, and he would also have a higher profit margin for the same product. So these are the differences that occurs in terms of traders when it comes to the actual amount that the trader is earning. So the trader at a large shopping complex might earn much higher as compared to the trader in a weekly market. Now again, what is produced in one market is available throughout the region or goes to nearly each and every place. So that's again very important. So economics of transportation also plays a very crucial role here. So we'll understand more about this when we cover this topic under economics and how the demand and supply governs the market flow or the real price of the commodity. So with this we cover the chapter 8 for political science class 7. We'll be covering further lectures in the upcoming session. So stay tuned. Have a good day ahead.